Hi, this is Michael Penny with Teens Wanna Know. Today we're here with singer-songwriter Chris Trapper. Now, we saw you show on Saturday and it was awesome.
You said that to all the singer-songwriters, I'm sure.
How did you get started songwriting?
Let's see, I was probably about 13 years old, and my sister had an old guitar that she kept in her bedroom, but never played it. And so it basically got rusty, collected dust, and it was basically an old broken antique sitting in a corner.
Yeah.
And she said, "Chris, do you want to play this someday?" And I kind of picked it up, and I just, it's hard to play the action. You know, the strings are like this high off the neck, so my fingers bled as I attempted to make chords. I was trying. And at that time, my brother played guitar in all sorts of different bands. He was older than me, but he played like Jimi Hendrix stuff.
Yeah.
And so he was a really adept guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And so he taught me how to play the theme from Batman, which is just a two-string theme that I learned to play, and it's impossible to play guitar, and it just became addictive to me where I was just like, wow, I can actually play a song, this is so cool. And so I just took that theme from Batman, I play it all the time. I play it at night, in the morning. You wake up, home from school, I play it. So I think my first song was I went to school, got picked on for something, got home, grabbed my guitar, and just felt awful inside, started playing guitar, you know, started to sing. I could sing back then a little bit, and in about half an hour passed, and I wrote my first song, which is not a real good song. It was a whiny song, but the feeling of release and just as felt better, like I'd taken a huge weight off my shoulders, and so that process just became the process that I write songs through now, where it's just I'll feel something, you know, write. And just feel lifted or elevated from it.
So a lot of our audience are young performers that want to get their first break.
Right.
How did you get yours?
You know, I think I'm still looking for my first break. But no, I started playing just, you know, open mic nights in coffee houses and just in Boston. And I went to play one open mic night. It was basically more so for people reading poetry. And one of the poets there said, "You're really good. Why don't you feature next week? You'll be our feature." You said, rather than play 2 songs and get off the stage, you stay and play for an hour. And you played for an hour, and just the reaction was immediately just so encouraging from that little group of poets and coffeehouse singers that they kind of pushed me to keep going and keep playing gigs in Boston. So I met a band probably about a year later. It was just two friends of mine, kind of randomly found them, and got a record deal, you know, maybe 6 months later. But I don't think there was ever one defining break. It was just I kind of was able to quit my real job after a couple of years because I got so busy, you know, playing music. I'm booked so much that I guess I don't have to pour coffee anymore for a living. So that became a nice thing. So you said no official first break. But the first break was actually from my father just saying, "Go for it." So I felt like with your parental kind of support and approval, it made me more confident to kind of go for it.
Have there ever been moments when you wanted to quit performing? What helped you go through it?
That's a great question. You know, it's all good but if you're first getting attention, you know, you're first getting like accolades, but you will go through kind of, you know, peaks and valleys. And so to get through the valleys, you have to really want it. So, yeah, there's definitely been a lot of gigs, I mean, still to this day, where I'll play them and it's not a perfect situation, where the club is not nice, you know, or the crowd is not receptive. And I never think of quitting because I have no other skills. So basically I'm stuck in this lifestyle. But I mean, I think that the people who I know who do it for a living, they have this need to do it. It's beyond want, it's need.
And do you have any favorite songs of yours that you like to perform?
You know, picking a favorite song is like picking a favorite kid. It's so hard to do.
Yeah.
So I have songs that I don't get sick of playing ever. It's a song that I close most of my sets with, "Keg in My Coffin." It might be one of my favorite songs. Only because it's the one time where I really, you know, wrote a simple song with a larger message.
Yeah,
so it's,
definitely.
you could sing it even if you're kind of, you know, not super bright. You might get it and sing along, but maybe think about it later and realize that there is a little meaning to it.
So what's been the proudest or most satisfying moment in your career?
Right now, talking to you, of course. Honestly, it's not the big moments. You know, it's not stuff that you would think it is. It's maybe when, like, one fan, you know, say that one song of mine helped them through something, which I've been fortunate to get that a lot. Or to have a song of mine be a couple's wedding song, that you know that they'll remember it forever. You know, I think those are the best moments for me. But I've had a lot of, you know, like bio moments that are cool. I've met a lot of, you know, famous people and stuff. But I think overall, it's that guy who shakes your hand after a show and says, "I've been waiting to hear you for so long. You've affected my life. You helped me through a breakup or the death of my parent or whatever." And so I think that those moments have the most, you know, impact for me as a songwriter, and that's also what helps you get through the valleys. You know?
Now, who's your biggest musical inspiration?
I would say that my kind of all-time idol, he's a singer named Sam Cooke.
Yes.
I'm surprised that you know him, but
I love Sam Cooke.
Well, that's pretty good. That's cool because you know, he's very much an old school soul singer, and the reason why I loved him and love him still, but is because he was able to write a simple song and also appeal to every generation, where you could be young, you'd be 75 years old, and still like his song. And then another guy, John Prine, who's a folk singer. He's an older folk singer. Because when I first saw him live, he was playing Great Woods in Boston. This big outdoor amphitheater for like 15,000 people. I was just a kid sitting in the crowd and watching him. And his concert, it was the one concert where I laughed and cried at it.
So growing up, you've had some issues with stuttering.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with it?
Well, I actually see that as kind of an important factor in my songwriting, because when I was a kid, maybe 13, when I first started songwriting, I'd try and ask a girl out from school and get so nervous because I stuttered that I couldn't even talk. You say I called a girl up, I was about to ask her out, and literally nothing would come out. You'd be like, "Hi," and I'd be like, "Shh," hang up and feel defeated and upset. But my way of countering it was to pre-record my voice on a boombox. You then hold the phone up to it and be like, "Hey Johnny, it's Chris Trapper calling. What's happening?" You then tape warbled once, and my voice was like, "Hey Johnny, it's Chris Trapper." So anyway, that's the funny side of it. But the serious side of it was I would read in school, I'd get called on and couldn't get words out. Like not any, to the point that I'd almost pass out. Sometimes you have suffocation. It was such an extreme stutter that I had back then. And I think music became a way for me to have my voice heard. So it became much more than just singing. It became my identity. It became how people kind of knew what I thought through songwriting. Also songwriting, as far as meeting dates and stuff, it became, maybe I can't talk to you, but I'll play you a song. And then, I still strike out, but not as quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you could travel back in time and give one piece of advice to your teen self, what would it be?
That period of time is just a small fraction of your life. Like I went back to my high school reunion, and it was just funny to see how people had changed since high school. And in some ways, all the popular kids were suddenly kind of not that person anymore. And some of the geeks, like me, had kicked it up a notch.
And you talked about that in your song, which I was cool, right?
Yeah. It's all true though.
Yeah.
There's only good art if it's true. So all the lines in that song, actually happened.
Could you play a little something for us?
I'd love to. There she was, under the street lamps buzzed, thinking could she just go home or stay out tonight. could see some friends stay till the house band ends, and in the end make all of the wrongs feel right. 'Cause it's hard enough finding true love. She might take your breath this time. If you make her laugh and see her better half, you might take her breath sometimes. She might be just fine. Seems like I'm always asking why. And hey, it's okay now, it's open in time. Butterflies and beer cans and blues on my mind, and I say yeah. Yeah, I hope that you're always dry. Perfect.
Sound like that, yeah.
Just nailed it. I'm gonna bring him on tour with me if that's cool with you.
Put the cake on my coffin and think of me every so often. Have a Lucy's Day parade for all my friends. Yeah, yeah. Drink up like the river till the peace of man delivers. Smile and know I love you till the end. Smile and know I love you till the end. Smile and know I loved you till the end. Smile and know I loved you till the end.